Please pronounce your name correctly for me.
Blanka C.
And you currently are the director of Trafo Gallery in Prague.
Yes, we can say like something like this. I'm a gallerist.
One of my big questions that I always like to start with just to get a foundation is sort of how did you even get into the creative industries? So like were your parents creative? Did you have good teachers, some life experience in your youth?
Yeah, it's a total mixture. My mother was teaching at was a high school of art in Turnov, and my father after that was the pupil of her. She was teaching him. And after that, my brother was born, I was born, and we were attending the school very often. And the surrounding was like very close to us. The flat of ours was full of paintings. And my first job when I was like 13, I was starting to work for museum in Turnov. It was called Museum of Czech Paradise. I was overwhelmed with art, like from the whole beginning. I didn't know that I will work in this area till maybe my age of 16. I was attending gymnasium, which is like high school here in Czech Republic, and there was a special teacher who was teaching us history of art, and he was so I was so magnetized by his describing a work of art that I wanted to like find my own way to this word. So that's why I wanted to do something closely, but I wasn't devoted to do the gallerist work. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to be an art historian or art historic. When times went by, I went to some school here in Prague, which was based on information management in museums and galleries. Then I worked for Ministry of Culture for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, something like that. And after that, I came to Academy of Fine Arts in Prague, and I left the job there this year, 1 month ago, where I was like 14 years working very happily with great people and in great surroundings. So, and during this time, I was, on the other hand, working with my friends, which is Honza Kalap, Jakub Nepraš, Michal Cimala, and we organized or we settled a small civic association, which was called Spolek Trafačka. And it was in 2006 when we started to plan our first exhibitions. And we used to work in old electric factory station, which was near ČKD Vysočany. It was like, I think in 30s of 20th century, there was a huge factory field. And now there are only there is nothing left, I believe, right now from this historic area. There are only shopping centers and hospital and many flats, but nothing industrial anymore. And we were the last piece of maybe freedom before the place was kind of completely destroyed. And it was in 2012, I believe. And after that time, we moved to another address, and now we have a gallery in Prague Market Art District of Prague 7. So this is the history of ours. So I was working on like the daily base time in Academy of Fine Arts and during nights and weekends for Trafo Gallery.
Yes, many jobs that we all do have to do in the arts.
Yeah.
I'm interested actually in your background in the Ministry of Culture.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do at the Ministry of Culture?
First touch with this institution was in my last year of the school when we needed to do some like proper contact with the real world. So I had to do some 6 months what is it called?
Internship?
Residency or
Yeah.
internship. Yes, that's the right word. And I was not afraid to ask one of the professors who were like working in a Ministry of Culture if they need there some help, because I didn't want to attend any institutions like galleries in or museums in Prague. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. And he told me, yes, I can manage to that. You can like search the whole place. And after those 6 months internship, I left there in the department which was based on professional art and libraries. For like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I was there like working with grants and in libraries mainly. And after that, I became a director, very like unusual way, because two of my colleagues became pregnant, and they asked me if I would manage it for like a couple of years before they will come back. So I was curious and I was happy about this like offer. So I did it for 1 year. After that, there was a special minister of culture who he kicked off 16 directors at one time because of the political reason. He wanted to have there his friends and people who will obey his orders. So I left very quickly, like in 14 days or something like this. And I was super angry about this. But I wanted to work for Transparency International after that because I wanted to fight back. But they had no free place or free job at this time. So I answered the offer from Academy of Fine Arts, and I was happy there after all.
Well, that's something that I find in Europe, I feel like is more prevalent than in
Mhm.
some other parts of the world, which is that politics and funding of the arts seems to be more tied together.
I hope it's not politics which like help or which is connected in the area of funding in our Ministry of Culture or in our city of Prague. Only the people who are on the top of these institutions. I
Sure.
mean,
The highest
yeah,
administrators,
the
yes.
highest, the highest person. So the rest shouldn't be based like politically or shouldn't be chained with any political party. But in those times where the Social Democratic Party was running this ministry, they had another opinion and they were helping each other very closely. So they got jobs for their political friends.
Oh, yeah. In the United States, the National Endowment of the Arts is, when Democrats are in power, it's funded really well.
Hmm.
When Republicans come into power, it's funded very poorly. Same
Hmm.
with NPR and all kinds of other great sort of arts things in the United States. And so, like in Europe, I sort of came here hoping that that politics was not as tied to
Hmm.
things, but it seems like it still is
It's similar.
somehow. Yeah, I mean, there's
Mm.
still the final say. So maybe not the people that are you deal with day to day, but the final people that sign off on things are still somehow political involved.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that I was really angry and surprised that I figured out, because maybe I was and I may be still very naive, that these these ministries still have special funds for funding whatever they would like to, and if they have good people there, like good meaning agreeing people and signing people, they can get money to any friends and any institution they like to support, and they had such a big funds, almost of the same amount as we as the whole like proper system were delivering or were investing. So horrible times, but it's like 15 years ago, so maybe it's better right now, I hope.
I don't know. I'm a horrible naive optimist in the way that I really hope that
Mhm.
art and politics are not intertwined too
Mhm.
much.
Mhm.
Though I'm also a realist and I'm fully aware that politics does still play a role in government funding of the arts. So,
Yeah, and in everything probably around us.
all right, well, a little quick question going back. I called you a director and you changed it to gallerist. Why the nuanced
You know
difference
why?
and sort of, but
We
no,
are.
I mean, well, no, I'm being serious about this because like when I go to title these podcasts, I've had people
Mhm,
say, "Oh no, we
mhm,
want to be gallery owner or versus
mhm,
gallerist versus
mhm.
director." Like, so what's the reason for the different wording in you from your perspective?
I am all of these parts, or all. I have all these three roles you mentioned. I am a gallerist, I am director, and I am co-founder and co-owner. And I believe when somebody calls himself a director, it needs to have many employees. And we have like me and several people who are like guarding the show. And one girl is working for us as a producer, and one and another girl is working for us as a small PR. So we are such a small team that we don't need big titles, I believe. That's why I call myself gallerist. But I'm running the place. I love doing this job. But I think when we will be like bigger institution, I can call myself director.
Okay. So you have plans to expand Trafo into something larger?
Of course, we are at the beginning.
Feel free to share. You're in the beginning. You've been at it for 14 years already?
Yes, but we went through special times. At the beginning, we were like really a couple of friends with some time to share, with no money, and we did almost do-it-yourself exhibitions. And after some time, we started to fund some money. We didn't sell anything. We just did a couple of exhibitions per year. It was like one per every 14 days, but we did it very low costly. But it was like quick change. And a real gallery, like commercial gallery program, or the goal of commercial gallery, we started to fulfill since the end of 2016. So it's now almost 4 years. That's why I say that we are at the beginning, because we are gathering collectors and the public is now more available of information, that we are not just friends playing as a gallery role, but we are like serious commercial gallery going for foreign art fairs and doing like proper job.
So wait, you're going to art fairs now?
This year we had to change everything, but yes, we started to go for Vienna Contemporary. And I was doing my own research where we should go else, but we were there repeatedly, and I loved that. That the place is full of like great galleries and interesting guests and collectors. And it's, I think it's very good PR, and of course the art sale is good there as well, and it's close.
The director, Joanna, actually had on a previous episode.
Ah, I have to hear her. Okay,
Yep.
super.
Okay, so what do you think about art fairs as a general whole? I'm a novice when it comes to art. I mean, I'm a patron, so or not a patron
Hmm.
actually, because that implies that I buy things. I am a person who attends. I'm an
Hmm.
attendee at art fairs. So, what do you think about them as a gallery going in with the intention of selling? And do they work? Do they work well? Or are they, from what I understand at this point, they're long-term investments. They
Yes.
are about making relationships for
Hmm.
future
Hmm.
growth and future sales, but not necessarily about sales that happen at the art fair.
I think we are really at the beginning. I will speak just from my point of view, which means
Always.
that, yeah, we gather information, and then, as you said, you have to come repeatedly. The public which comes to see the program of the art fair needs to know you, needs to know the artist, because if you're new, you hardly sell your art because nobody knows the artist. So it's like, so you said, building the name, and building the name of the artists. Make a connection with people working there, with people coming there from all over the world, with museums and galleries which are coming there to like collect new names for their exhibitions, not only for selling art. But if I will speak from the Czech point of view, there is only one small art fair in Prague, which we don't attend. We don't believe it's, or I don't believe it's, it has a good attitude, got good level, good PR. So we are thinking about like improving this thing. Maybe we will come with a new idea. I don't want to speak about it right now because we would like to plan it in 6 months in Prague, and it could change the way of selling art like together with more galleries in one place in one time. And from the gallerist point of view, I believe that to see your friends from other galleries coming with other artists and one time, and to neighbor each other, like to see so closely what are the others doing, it's good competition. It's always good to see and hear the background stories from other galleries. And I've made many friendships in Vienna or in Budapest when we were like 2 years ago, because we all have same experiences. Time to time someone is like older on the market, so they can help you with many other things, but each of them came with the same way, or they were gathering from the beginning, from the first knowledge to become better and to do their jobs better.
Okay. And along that, actually, I'm always interested in how does Trafo create its programming? So beyond the obvious of like how do you choose your artists that you represent and work with, how do you create your programming, and sort of do you have a philosophy behind it? And then even like what kind of techniques do you use? To do you choose to put,
Hmm.
spring colored thing, bright colored things in the summer and cold things in the winter? Like, I mean, like,
No.
what's your, one
Yeah,
gallery
so
actually mentioned that to me, and I just thought
really.
it was an interesting example. Well,
Uh-huh.
they
Okay.
actually do the opposite. They do warm summer colored things in wintertime, and they do
Uh-huh.
colder works in the summertime to give a
I
nice
see.
contrast to the
Hmm.
environment at the time.
Interesting concept.
Well, and that sort of leads me down, are
Mhm,
there, how do you, and you all are a little different because you're a group, you're an association that does this. So
mhm,
this is not just one owner making all the decisions, that you all do this as a group, correct?
mhm. Yes, but there are two ways maybe we are combining each other when we program the plan of the gallery. The one side is our like background history. When we used to have the civic association in the old factory station, we had there like 35 studios with artists. They were like halfly working there, halfly living there. Some of them were getting babies there. Everything was happening around us. And these people are from our generation and they are very close to us. So we are still working with them, and we have like very broadened contacts in Czech art scene in our generation. So we can say this is one pool we are working with. And the other one is that me and the three artists I mentioned are from academical space or academical art branch. And well, as I mentioned that I work there, I can say I saw what is like growing there, what is coming as a new way of art, or how talented people are starting then to do something. So I am choosing from these two pools. I'm coming with my like 6 exhibition per year concept to my colleagues, and if they agree, we do what I came with. If they have their own opinion, of course we discuss it, and I'm very happy that we are doing this together, because it's always better to discuss it from each point of view, because all of us have totally different attitude to art. Michal Cimala is a sculptor and painter, and he's inventing his own musical instruments. He is a DJ. So this he is one has one point of view. Honza Kalap is a painter. He has a very good art seller, we can say, and he has big roots in street art. So he has his own experiences and his point of view. And the third one is Jakub Nepraž, who is great in video sculptures. He used to study in new media department in Academy of Fine Arts, and he is doing so special installation that you can't find anything like similar to his art. So each of us has different like scale or different view or perspective, and we try to mix our all opinion. And I maybe can say what we do not install or what we do not prefer in our space. It's conceptual art mainly. We work with paintings or painters, with sculptures. We time to time work with photographers or intermediate artists, but conceptual art is something we offer or we exhibit really rarely.
Define that a little bit more clearly. What would you say conceptual art is? Because that's such a vague term.
I would say that if you need more time to study what is your art about than to come in front of it and understand in couple of minutes what is this art speaking about. And I don't think that or I don't want to say that you need to see everything from the first sight or from the minute of when you see the halo effect or what we will call it. But if you need to study like many books or read like 5 A4s before you will start to understand the point when the artist was at the beginning when he was starting to put his bike against this wall, and that's it. I don't think we need to use this place or our place for it. I'm not sure if this is understandable. It's difficult maybe to tell it in Czech, even in English, but I really appreciate when the art is not understandable for me, and there is a curator or artist by himself who can like shortly come with some story which will be like or will come, or the ideas will be closer to me after that. Maybe that's enough.
No, it makes sense to me. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like people just throw around some of these big words like
Yeah,
conceptual art, like
yeah, yeah,
too
yeah.
much. They're too liberal with it. So, like, I'm trying to sort of get a little bit more of a precise definition from various different people. And that's pretty good explanation for me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you mentioned curators. I am fascinated because you all have worked with lots of curators
Hmm.
already in your history, and you know, I'm always fascinated by the relationships of curators to galleries
Hmm.
because, of course, I'm a practicing artist and a professor, and that's my sort of interaction with curators. So,
Hmm.
how do you, as a gallery, work with curators?
I believe when curator is doing his job correctly, he is the most important bridge between the people who are coming untouched to the gallery space and the place of the artist when he choose or she chooses something which is the best from the artwork. And after this choosing and a proper installation in the gallery space, the curator should speak or help to the artist to inform public what is this all about, because many artists don't like to be public somewhere, don't like to speak loudly, don't like to be anywhere else than in their studio. Not of course all of them, but time to time it's something like this, and where they speak long enough together, when they really knows each other, it really helps to understand their art. And I always want to publish the wisdom of these curators to the books we do for each exhibition. We do six, as I said, six exhibition per year, and I want to publish or to print small retrospective publications for each exhibitions. So it's not just a catalog book with photos or reproductions. I want to share more information about the artists, which means there should be the curator's text, there should be maybe an interview with the artist, and other information which should help you as a visitor or art lover to understand the art of this artist. So I think that the curator is, if he really knows the artist, he knows the place where the exhibition should be, and he uses his time to prepare everything like in proper way, they are really important, not only for me as a gallerist.
I grew up, in Washington, D.C. and America and all this, and most gallery spaces, and of course, you all are in a little bit of a transition, so I should,
Hmm.
caveat that with this, but most gallery spaces didn't you really use curators. Primarily, it sort of broke down to just the gallery director or the gallerist and the artist negotiating what goes on display. And then the independent curators were more based in the sort of the exhibition spaces, which is what you all were
Hmm.
for many years, and now you're
Hmm.
transitioning more into a sales gallery and a commercial ish gallery at this point.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, will there still be the continuation of working with curators, even though you're sort of leaning more towards a sales gallery versus an exhibition space?
Yes, I would like to have high level of the exhibitions, not only be like a sales house. For me, it's important to come with some strong opinion when we do some exhibitions, not just sell the art. It's not enough. So I believe that we will. If I'm not sure if I'm now answering what you've asked, but I would like to continue in this way in the future.
Right, and that's sort of the long form of the question is basically like, how do you transition easily or don't? So, like, if you're having any issues with
Hmm.
this, like, from an exhibition space, which is based in putting on a magnificent exhibition, something that people talk about, something that's memorable, something that sort of changes the vernacular of the medium or of
Hmm.
the community, to something that you can rely on some amount of income from selling. Like, how do you balance that?
When we discuss this together with all my three friends, we are trying to imagine how it will work, and we always do the mixture that we choose, or hopefully choose, someone who will fulfill our dreams about quality and of course selling in the other hand. And there are some experimentations which are coming with the new talents, which I believe they need quality or good attitude from the side of gallery. They need good place to show their art. They need some good curator work, and after that they can become a good artist to show, or not good become good artists. They will show that they are talented. And these exhibitions are not commercial at the end because nobody knows them yet, but they are starting to build their names, and we are helping them, so they are grateful for that, and they are coming in 2 or 3 years, and we are repeating their exhibitions, and we are building together their name, and they became in soon future like commercial artists as well.
Yeah, and I've noticed this big, I don't know if it's an interest or a trend in younger artists. Like, in the past, I I'd say like 10 years, I've noticed this huge trend towards funding, towards basically 35 or younger, grants, residencies, and then even a lot of new galleries opening up around the
Mhm.
world that
Mhm.
primarily focus on this 35 and under age group for
Mhm.
support and growth and all this. I'm all for that, but I'm 46, and so, like,
Mhm.
I'm screwed when it comes to that kinda thing. So, like, what can somebody who's maybe still working as an artist and hasn't found any amount of success in their career yet and might be over that age range, how can they get some sort of foot in the door?
I believe it's like personal connection. If if
As the whole art world is, like, it's all
yes, it's horrible, but it works like this. I receive time to time some portfolios by artists I've never heard about from different parts of the world. And if I'm interested, I would like to meet the guy or the girl after that. But always it's easier when these people are coming to the gallery space and will come to see you and meet you and describe what you do, because it's always like not just the art but the whole personality. And it, for me, it's totally unimportant if you are like 25 or 45. It's important what you are doing and what's your art speaking about. So we don't do open calls till the year of 35 or what you mentioned.
I know. It's just something that I keep seeing. The other day, I was looking on something on social media and I noticed this thing. It was like this beautiful residency. It was like, great. I love it. It's just, I mean, it would fit me perfectly. It's
Hmm.
exactly what I need. And then it said, you had to be 35 or younger. I'm like, fuck,
Hmm.
fine.
Yeah.
So, all right. You mentioned that actually that you get submissions of people sending you works, kind of thing.
Hmm.
I always have a fascination thing. Okay, so when you as a gallerist look at an artist, what's the what's the hierarchy of things that sort of interest you? So I would assume it's like quality of work first, but so that's obvious. We all agree to that. It
Hmm.
has to be
Hmm.
good work.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
then after that, is it the quality of the text, so, like, artist statement, their CV, their, like, blah, 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 like, what's the next what so after, of course, making beautiful work, what's the next things that are important to you?
I think the first thing is that you think what the art means, but the explanation by the artist could be the second point of view. And it's always more important that my first glimpse from the art. So it's a mixture of all you've said, of course, but first it has to be strong enough to like attract your imagination. Or but I don't like to see small pictures in computer or in your phone. It works so badly. Time to time, it can help the artist because smaller painting is time to time better than the reality. But it's horrible, yeah. But it works time to time like this. So it's better to see everything on your own eyes. If you feel that you see something different and interesting, it's better to see it by your own eyes and to meet the person.
What I'm hearing is that quality of art probably is number 1 and quality of person is number 2.
Yeah, for me it's like that. Yeah.
What about social media? Do you all use it very much? Do you like it? Do you find it beneficial? Do you find it a time waster? What's your role? What's your position on it?
I think in these days it's like total necessity, or we have to use it. We are young gallery, we are working with young or middle-aged generation, and everybody is online right now. So I believe that all these artists should have their like working websites. They have to work on Instagram and do their own PR. and after that we can work with them on Facebook or Instagram. But I know many young artists who were almost nobody before they started to use their Instagram, and after that, many international galleries asked them to come to see their place and do the exhibition in their home city. So it has strong power, and it's just a picture in your mobile phone. So many people now sell their art if they can like go somewhere outside, I mean outside from the country, they sell their art just by the picture in their Instagram.
I continually hear stories of people saying, "Oh yeah, there are these people that sell their art on Instagram." I have yet to actually meet anybody who actually sells their art on Instagram, though.
You did. You
I
met.
did.
Yes.
Jan.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
He didn't mention that. I asked him.
Really, maybe it happened after that.
Okay.
But that's really a situation coming with our quarantine or art teen show we did 1 month ago. So yeah, it's,
Don't get me wrong, actually, just to be clear, because now that I'm thinking about it, I have personally sold work through Instagram, people finding me on it, but it's not reliable. I think it's sort of more, it's like, so randomly selling a piece here and there, I think is that social medias can be great for that. As a matter of fact, actually, I just sold one yesterday,
mhm,
but it's not a reliable, consistent income. So, like, when I say people selling things through social media, I mean consistently
yeah, okay.
in that way. And I never
Mhm,
hear of
mhm,
anybody
mhm.
consistently making a living doing it.
Not yet. Maybe it will come.
Well, that's the thing, like, what's the future of all this?
Mm,
How is this all changing? Because, we all love museums and galleries and the actual experiences, but of course, right now we're having difficulties having those
mhm.
real, tangible experiences. So, like, how is this going to change the industry moving forward, or is it just going to fall back into its same old ways when this is all done?
You know, I think I would need some crystal, what is it called?
Crystal ball.
Ball, thank you,
Yeah.
to know what will happen. I don't like to see any art on any virtual view. Even we did a couple of these, but I still believe that the strongest power of the art is when you are next to it, or you can see it by your own eyes, or you can touch it if you don't have good eyes. Probably when you are a collector and when you know already the artist, you can allow yourself to sell, to buy his art even if you see just the picture online, because you all already know the way how he works, and you know that you need this art in your collection because you would have a gap there if you wouldn't buy that. But I don't like buying art online, so I don't believe this will work for long.
I've never liked it. I mean, I was in San Francisco at the dot-com boom when everybody thought,
Hmm.
like, you could start buying online. My big issue is, like, little things, 'cause my background's photography and, just color shifting. So, like,
Hmm.
you put something up that's a very specific color and, well, like, here, I'll give you a perfect example. My wife bought a dress that was this
Hmm.
beautiful orange dress, and when it showed up,
Hmm.
I think it was red. Not orange. So,
Sure.
so the
Mm,
internet is not a reliable,
it's not.
source for even just
Mm.
colors.
Mhm.
So, like, how can you buy art if you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
even be assured that the color is what you think it is?
sure, sure. It will be the first exhibition after the quarantine time, but hopefully the people will come in bigger amount than 100, because now we can't be in bigger groups at one place in one time. But we prepared this show for like March time, and I didn't want to give this up because the show is quite huge. There are 16 sculptures, women and men from the Czech art scene, and there are like five legendary Czech sculptors who will have their own piece of art in Prague market outside for half a year. and 11 of their students or their younger generation will show their new formalities or new forms of sculptures or sculpturing in inside of our gallery. So I believe this will show the current or the contemporary Czech sculpture art scene in like stronger point of view or a stronger impact. So I'm really curious what kind of reflection will come after this show, because there are many talented people and sculpture is in these days in Czech Republic not visible very often in galleries. More is paintings or the conceptual art, but sculpture is like not prohibited. Or so I wanted to make it more visible. So we will see what will come after that. It will call reform, like reform, like new ways of form. The sculptures today are using many different materials that were not used before. So they are sculptures from fabric, from paper, from wax, from concrete, marble, etc. So it will be a huge mixture of materials and attitudes.
One thing I've noticed a lot about the Czech art scene is it's somewhat insular. Like a lot of Czech galleries sell and exhibit Czech artists, and there doesn't
Hmm.
seem to be much of a an international mix
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
there. I mean, there are a few galleries around the Czech Republic that do work with international artists, but I hear also more about a lot of the Czech galleries going to art fairs and going out to try to take their art and artists out to the international market. But what's being done to bring some of those outside influences into the Czech Republic?
In our goal in those 6 years per 6 exhibitions per year, we always wanted to do one exhibition with some foreign artists or group of foreign artists. So in last couple of years we did show with Hungarian artists. There were like six of them. Then we did a show with Polish artists. They were street artists, and we did some outside graffiti as well, like legal murals, of course. Then we did Czech German exhibition, which was like barter. We switched the artists. We did Prague Berlin barter and Berlin Prague barter show. So we do this every year, just one per year, because the difficulties are not connected only with like investments, with the travel and insurance and everything like this, accommodation. But the problem is that, as you mentioned at the beginning, it's difficult to show in the Czech Republic someone who is not known here. Many people are not curious about new names, about new ways of art. Even if you come with someone who is excellent, it needs to have more time to show him or her, to like promo enough the whole exhibition, and to find good ways. So it needs sometimes, and you need to have a good name as a gallery to lead the people, or let the people understand or believe that you will come with someone who will be interesting for them, even if they don't know him or her. So that's why we do only one show like this per year, but we want to like mix the European or international art together. This year we should have one friend of ours which was in old Trafačka space a couple of years ago from Portugal. So we, during this like quarantine time, we rescheduled it. We need to postpone it for the year after, but after that we would like to cooperate with another artist from Canada. So we still work with like artists from abroad. And of course we would like to send our artists outside and cooperate with other galleries.
Well, and that's something actually that fascinates me. Okay, back in the day, I used to work for an art gallery in San Francisco in particular, and we used to have these conversations about
Hmm.
having sister galleries in other cities where you
Hmm.
have like
Hmm.
relationships with them and you sort of more or less call it like trade artists or sort of represent their artists in different geographical locations. Like, is this something that's still done these days?
I believe yes. We have a couple of galleries we work like this together, but maybe those art fairs are helpful for connecting with each other to understand what each gallery is like presenting, what kind of artist they're working for, and time to time is coming from the artist perspective that someone like, for example, Honza Kalap, who is cooperating with different galleries outside Czech Republic, comes with the idea to do the show with one of his gallery space because he knew the people, he knew the place, and he can like recommend each other as an artist that both galleries are reliable and like doing good job.
Right. Well, because I keep thinking about how everybody talks about, well, I hear two sides to this story. On the one hand, I hear the art world is a worldwide thing because, of course,
Hmm.
social media and the internet and all this stuff, like the art scene and the arts industry is literally a worldwide thing. But I also hear on the flip side that while it is worldwide, really it's still very regional.
It depends what the people who attend these galleries are looking for. I believe that if you do a mixture of international artists and the local artists, it's always much more helpful for at the end. So that's just the way how we like to work.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, you wanna play to your base, but you also want to expand their palette of interest to some other
Hmm.
knowledge and ideas.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Because in the end, you still have to make a living at this. I mean, this is not a charity.
Yeah, of course. Time to time, it is charity. It was like 14 years only charity and just the free time and like personal happiness.
Well, but now recently you all got this beautiful new space over in Prague 7, and
Yeah,
you've been
yeah,
working a lot in Prague 7 because that region has become this sort of, or they've self-defined as this art district, and so now
yes,
they're trying
that's
to
right.
attract more arts into that region as well.
Hmm. We are working in old slaughterhouse where cattle was killed like 50 years ago or maybe 80 years ago. And this area of Prague Market is full of art studios, two theaters, and many gastronomical services and services of all kind. It used to be connected to Vietnamese shops, but now it's getting changed, and it should be more like cultural space, and they should offer more services to the public.
It has a fabulous farmers market there as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And in Prague 7, which is like 5-10 minutes away by walk from the gallery, there are many art schools, many artists are living there, many designers and hipsters. There are many bars and bars and restaurants, and many young people are living there. So that's why there are many like vivid shops and gallery spaces, and this every week is something new coming around there. So it's a good place to just go around and get a coffee and look around what is there, and time to time to see what's new in art or what's the people are doing there.
Right, but I mean, it's an interesting issue of, I don't know if I would go so far as to say like gentrification, but it's
Hmm.
sort of like the city deemed, well, Prague 7 was already where creative people were congregating, and then the city suddenly decided it's the arts district, and so now it's like exponentially faster. The growth of the amount of arts and creativity there is getting bigger, and also people are being priced out of being there because of course now it's a very popular place to be in, therefore
Hmm.
rents and stuff are going up.
I think they are trying to think the way how everything can live next to each other, not to be just like cultural space with hundreds of concerts and program just for young people, but since I don't know 5 years ago, the municipalities came with the idea that they should support the culture in Prague 7, and they are doing the best in Prague because they really found a quite big amount of money, which helps many institutions. On the other hand, there are still many people living there with their kids because there is a huge park next to the Prague 7, or it's inside of Prague 7, and many old people as well. So I think the politics are really thinking how to survive there for every generation, not only for young people.
I hope so. I don't get involved in politics if I can help it.
I was interested in helping, like sharing these grants, or not sharing in like spreading these grants amongst the people. So that's why I knew a little bit more, and I am like reading what these political or the people from these political sides are doing in this area. So I was focused on this for many years, so that's why I'm interested in what they are doing. But I'm not the one who is doing politics in this in anything.
Okay, but you brought up grants and such. Do you write grants?
Yes, we do, or I do
You
from the
do.
beginning. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, please help me out. I am horrible at writing grants. I have no idea how to do it. I'm so bad at it, and I would love any sort of insight or tips that you can give for how to write a good grant.
No problem. I will try to help you. There are many open calls in the Czech Republic, and since the very beginning of Trafačka, this was the only income we used for existing program. And in these days, we are getting support from Ministry of Culture and City of Prague and the Prague 7 as well, and they are helping us with printing books because this is something we can or we wouldn't be able to do without this help.
Okay, hold on one second. Just for the listeners who are listening to this,
Hmm.
Ministry of Culture would be governmental. City of Prague would be sort of a municipal or city related grants. And then
Exactly.
Prague
Hmm.
7 is basically a neighborhood within the city that also
Hmm.
gives their own separate grants as well. So
Yes,
just to
exactly.
clear that up, so for people in other countries, so basically like federal, state, and local grants.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead. Grant writing, help me out. Like, so
You
what
know,
are some
I
tips for how to do it well? Because it's one of the biggest problems for visual artists. Is basically how to request funding or to put in a proposal saying like, this is the project I have and I want to display it here or whatever it is. Doesn't even matter what it is. We're horrible at writing about our art. Like, we're visual artists.
so maybe when you start with this, it's always better to find someone who can read it after you or who can speak with you before you will start. I have many experiences from the Ministry of Culture when I was that one who was reading it and who was like signing the contracts after that. And after that, I came to the other side and I was trying to write it not for myself or for like individuals, but for the institutions. And when I was at the Academy of Fine Arts, I wanted to learn or teach it to the students because some of them are going to use it or are starting at school to use it. So I was starting to do grants for students at the Academy of Fine Arts to learn how to work with it, how to work with money, how to work with the accounts and everything around it, how to work with rules. So everybody is like totally upset when they hear it. But I always said that it's like when you are doing like puzzle or something like this. When you know what you really want to do, you know how much should it cost. You just need to write what you want. That's all.
Yeah, but I mean, I come from academia myself, and my big pet peeve with academia as a whole. Now, I mean, I don't know every individual school, but most of the schools that I've worked with do not prepare students for the real
Mm,
world. They don't teach them that being an artist is also running a business.
mm,
They just teach
you're
them the
right.
crafts, they teach them the skills, they teach them the concepts, but they don't teach them taxes and contract
Mm,
law and
mm.
insurance and all the other things that are the real things that will make easy for them to transition
To
into being
survive after that.
professional artists.
Mm, mm. I think Academy of Fine Art in Prague is doing some experiments in this way. They don't prepare students right, maybe enough, but it's mainly in communication or in the leadership of the studios how they work with students. But they are starting some seminars which are like not what is it the word? You don't have to attend them if you don't want to. It's like voluntary,
Mhm.
and if students want to know something from this point of view, they can.
But it should be mandatory. They should. I mean,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
we,
yeah. I
because like
believe
they
so.
say that 99% of students that graduate art school stop making art within 5 years.
That's horrible. But I don't think that asking for grants should be the only thing what they should do the whole rest of their life.
Oh, no, 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 but the some assistance in learning how to write residency
Yeah, yeah,
applications,
you're right.
how to,
Exactly.
write the applications for grants, but
Mm,
also then, like, how to find the best insurance and how to,
mm.
or even just how to write a really eloquent artist statement and like learning the nuances of, like these days would be like social media and how to build an effective website,
I see.
whether you should sell your work on your own or whether you should,
Mm.
how to approach a gallery. I mean, my God, there are so many professional practices that are not taught to artists that we all
You're
have to
right. You're
learn by
right. Mm,
mistakes.
mm. And the schools should help. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, they should.
Mm.
I mean, I taught at schools that people were paying a lot of money to attend, and they
Mm,
should
mm.
prepare them to be
Mhm, mhm.
professionals in the field, not
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
creative.
Sure. This is
But
very
that's my
important
pet
thing.
peeve. Yeah, that's my pet peeve. That's my gripe for the day. There you go. I always go on one tangent for the day.
I see.
This has been lovely. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you too, Matthew. See you next time.
See you soon at the gallery, actually.
Hopefully.